Welcome to Forest of Ash, Lesson 13, The City and the Crossroads. I live on the edge of a large city and I love it. I have lived in a small cottage in the middle of a field, miles from anywhere, and I love that too. But I was a lot younger then and perhaps didn't appreciate the landscape quite as much as I would have done. A house in the middle of nowhere was just a brilliant place to have a party because there were no neighbours to complain. Now, I wouldn't want to live anywhere else because basically I like my creature comforts. Central heating, mains gas and electric, takeaways that deliver, that kind of thing. You can call me lazy if you like, but it suits me. My connection to nature is my garden, which isn't large, but it is big enough to fit my herbs and plants. But every city still has its own unique connection to nature. Most cities will have the odd park or public garden, and even city centres often have a few trees. Most urban streets have hedgerows or trees too. It is just a case of seeking them out. If you live in a city, you might have to explore to find what you need, but I'm pretty sure there will be something. A city witch just needs to adapt to his or her surroundings. It is something a bit more challenging. It is sometimes a bit more challenging to find Mother Nature at her best in the city rather than in the country, but it can be done. Even the weeds that grow in the cracks of the pavement or walls of building are part of Mother Nature's tapestry, and all of them can be a source of natural energy and magic. Weeds. You will find weeds everywhere, not just in the garden, but especially if you live in the city. It is useful to know your weeds and recognise them because they can be utilised in all sorts of magic. A weed is classified as a wild plant growing where it is not wanted, so it covers all manner of different plants. In cities and towns, weeds can be found growing through the cracks in the pavement and between bricks in walls. Keep an eye out because I think you might be surprised at what you find. The ones you are probably familiar with are dandelions, chickweed, clover, nettles, and daisies. And these have magical uses. You may even find others like yarrow or dock, and many more. Even the humble clump of grass has magical properties and energy that can be tapped into. Chickweed, starwort, Stellaria media. Chickweed has a strong feminine energy and is associated with the moon, so it brings heap loads of emotional stuff and the power of love. At night, the lower leaves of the chickweed plant fold up to protect the younger shoots, so it makes a good plant to use in protection spells for children. Carry a sprig of chickweed with you or use it in pouches and pockets to attract love to you, or if you're in a relationship, to keep the fidelity strong. Add a handful of chickweed in a piece of muslin to your bath water before you go on a date to increase the chances of a love connection. Sailors used chickweed vinegar to prevent scurvy when first fresh citrus was not available, because obviously when you are out at sea, fruit trees are not often found. Chickweed derived its English name from the idea that birds like to eat it. I wonder if they knew. The Latin name for Stellaria media refers to the little white star-shaped flowers that cover the plant. Chickweed has a long history of spanning the globe, all suggesting the use of it as a tonic to cure all sorts of ailments, not just used for people, but also in the late 1500s it was a favoured tonic given to caged birds. Clover, Trifolium. We all know that four-leaf clovers are lucky, right? Clover is said to protect the virtuous against evil forces, but only the virtuous apparently. Clover flowers can be carried with you to bring luck and success your way. White clover is useful in hex-breaking spell work. Red clover works well for money, luck, love, and exorcism workings. An old poem from 1815, Sir Walter Scott, states, "Trefoil, vervain, St. John's wort, dill, hinder witches of their will." Trefoil being a clover. We all know that 4-leaf clovers are lucky. The 3 leaves are believed to represent faith, hope, and charity, love, and the 4th was God's grace. St. Patrick is said to have used a 3-leaf clover to represent the Holy Trinity. The stem united 3 people in one God, and the leaves represented the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Stories tell that Druids would carry a 3-leaf clover with them, using it to help see evil spirits coming, and 4-leaf clovers were used for protection and to ward against bad luck. Daisy, Bellis perennis. These happy little white flowers always remind me of childhood and making daisy chains. They are such fun and cheerful flowers. Hang daisies in children's bedrooms in a pouch, safely out of the way of tiny little hands, to bring protection. Have daisies in the house to make sure your home is filled with happiness, peace, and joy. Put dried daisy flowers under your pillow to bring about interesting dreams. Because the daisy flower opens in the daylight and loves to show its face to the sun, it is full of solar energy, which can be harnessed and used in strength and courage in spell work. The daisy is a sacred flower of the Virgin Mary, symbolizing her chastity, grace, and purity. The daisy is a symbol of love, sensuality, and fertility associated with the Norse goddess Freya, who also carries the association of motherhood and childbirth. A Roman god, Vertumnus, became infatuated, nay, even obsessed, with the beautiful nymph called Belides. Bring out the restraining order. Belides, however, was not impressed and became so totally fed up with him pestering her all the time that she transformed him into a field of daisies. Could have been worse. The pretty little daisy is believed to have its origins in Old English term day's eye, because the flower would open its petals at the start of each day and then close them at dusk. And of course the daisy first appears each year in spring. Dandelion, Taraxacum officinale. Possibly one of the most well-known and easily sourced weeds is the dandelion. It has a whole host of magical uses. Dandelion leaves can be used in workings for healing, purification, dispelling negative energy, spirit work, and weather magic. Dandelion roots can be used for divination, wishes, and spirit work, along with adding to dream pouches for sleep protection. Drink dandelion tea or coffee to help your psychic powers. And of course, dandelion seeds are perfect for making for any kind of wish magic. Dandelion is associated with the underworld and communication with the dead. It is an excellent herb to use for hedge riding and walking between worlds. Take a dandelion seed head and blow 4 times, once to each direction, north, east, south, west, making a wish as you do so. Making a wish jar by filling an empty and clean jar with dandelion seeds. The name of the genus, Taraxacum, has its origins in the Greek taraxos, meaning disorder, and axos, meaning remedy, which reflects the medicinal qualities of dandelion. We have all blown the seeds from a dandelion globe, and this led to the idea that it could predict love. If you blow away all the seeds in one big puff, then you are lucky enough to be loved with a passion. However, if some of the seeds are left stuck to the stalk, then there are a few things holding the relationship back. If you are already out of favour and most of the seeds are left behind, then your love life needs some serious attention. The dandelion and its sunshiny connection, along with the healing properties it has, was a symbol of the Roman sun god Apollo. Dock, Rumex. Dock takes the ouch out of a situation. It calms, soothes, and eases any arguments, issues, or disagreements. Sprinkle dock seeds around your house or use them in incense blends to bring in abundance and protection. Grow dock or sprinkle the seeds around the boundaries of your workplace to help with your business success and to attract new custom. Wear dock in an amulet to bring new love or fertility to you. An old folktale from Cornwall, England, tells that wet leaves of the dock placed on a burn whilst invoking on a burn whilst invoking 3 angels from the east will soothe the wound. Probably one of the most famous uses for dock is to ease stinging from a nettle by placing a dock leaf over the area. It even has a chance to accompany it, which should be said thrice. Out, nettle, in, dock. Dock shall have a new smock. No, I have no idea what it means either. Need something to wrap your butter in to keep it clean and protected? Look no further than dock leaves, which used to be used and were often referred to as butter dock. Nettles. Urtica dioica. Nettles are very good for putting into poppets or witches' bottles to remove curses. Make a magic powder with dried nettles and sprinkle around your property to keep out negative energies. Use dried nettle in amulets and medicine bags to allay fear and ward against ghosts. Nettle is mentioned in an Anglo-Saxon charm recorded in the Lochnugga, a 10th century manuscript. The charm is intended to be an antidote to poison and to heal infection. It contains both pagan and Christian elements and details the 9 sacred herbs of Odin. Historically, nettles have held the power of protection, quite often against demons and witches. The name for this plant seems to have its origins in Anglo-Saxon. The word nodle or nettle can be found in reference to the fact that this plant stings and feels as if someone has struck you with a needle or nodle. Nettle, it was also used as a thread before flax came along, so the net part of the name may also refer to spinning or sewing. Roughly translated, nettle actually means that which one sews. Makes perfect sense. Burning nettles while focusing on a person, a feeling or emotion will banish it, or so they say. You can break hexes with nettles by grinding them to a powder and mixing with graveyard dirt. Burn half the mixture and waft the smoke around your body and home. Carry the rest with you. Yarrow. Achillea millefalorum. Carry yarrow with you to allay fears and bring you personal courage. Keep yarrow under your pillow to enhance prophetic dreams. Drink yarrow tea or burn as incense to increase your psychic powers. Bring yarrow into your home or burn as an incense blend to invite love, happiness and peace. Scatter yarrow around your property or wear in an amulet to keep you protected. Achilles used yarrow as a field dressing for the wounds of his soldiers during the Trojan War. He obviously didn't have enough left to use on his heel. During the 17th century, a woman was accused of being a witch because she used yarrow. At that time, it was considered to be a herb of the devil. But let's not get into the there is no devil in witchcraft thing. They all had different ideas back then. Yarrow has long been used for divination. Druids used it to predict the weather, and young ladies would work with it when they wanted to see who their new beau would be. In fact, in the ancient divination method of I Ching, dried yarrow heads were often used. Animals. If you live in a city, you may find your animal totems and guides are quite different to someone living in a rural area or by the sea. You probably won't find many bears or dolphins in the city, so look around and see what animals thrive in the city. Cat. Those with a cat at home will know that they are gods and should be worshipped and pampered in every way, shape and form. Cat definitely brings elegance, independence and intuition, and I think it has a definite feminine energy. She is also full of mystery, wisdom and understanding, definitely on how to annoy humans, but she also brings healing and balance. Obviously curiosity, which apparently killed the cat, which also comes with definite psychic abilities and always spirituality. Keywords: independence, healing, curiosity, mystery, psychic abilities, elegance, intuition, mystery, wisdom, understanding, balance. Crow. This is one very powerful animal spirit guide and a clever beggar as well. Crow brings wisdom, knowledge, and magic from every dimension and helps you to learn to trust your own intuition. He is also mindful, not just of our own self, but also in judging others' actions and words. Crow is very much an eccentric individual, and he encourages that in those he chooses to walk with. Crow also brings change, creation, spiritual strength, and the ability to see into the past and the future. He is a bit of a cheeky, sly one, though, and deception is not beneath him. In fact, sometimes he revels in it. He does teach us to adapt, to look beyond the ordinary, and to listen to what is going on around us. Keywords: mindfulness, truth, trust, intuition, integrity, individuality, change, past, present, future, spiritual strength, magic, wisdom, deception, and awareness. Dog. A dog animal spirit guide is for life, not just for you. Definitely man or woman's best friend, and so jam packed with loyalty you couldn't fit it into another wet, slobbery lick. Dog is devoted, but also a protector, a companion, faithful, and hardworking. Dog is also good with communication, especially if he needs a walk. He can also provide healing and support. The black dog is a creature that foretells impending doom and is also a term used for depression. So this dark side of dog can also be a warning system. Keywords: loyalty, devotion, protection, companion, faithful, hard work, communication, healing, support, and warning. Fox. The wily, cunning old fox has appeared in myths and legends for centuries, bringing his shape-shifting and healing abilities with him. He is a skillful creature and full of the mystical dawn dusk in between magic that is also associated with World of Fairy. He can teach us his cunning and clever ways, using camouflage, agility, and the art of shapeshifting. He doesn't outrun. He observes, plans, plots, and schemes, anticipating the next move and outwitting those that chase him. He is smart and crafty, but he does go over the top sometimes and becomes unbearably so. Keywords: cunning, stealth, courage, observation, persistence, wisdom, magic, shapeshifting, invisibility. Ladybird, ladybug. Called a ladybird in the UK and a ladybug in the USA, this tiny, tiny little pretty coloured insect is a powerful animal spirit guide. The shell keeps it protected, the wings allow it to fly, and they have amazing instincts, feeling vibrations through their legs to allow them to sense the energy of whatever they are touching. Their bright colours also serve as a warning to predators to keep away, guiding us to send out the same message to our enemies. The colours of this little bug also bring happiness and joy and remind us to let go of fears and live life to the fullest. The ladybird asks us to trust and have faith, not just in ourselves, but in those around us too. Ladybird also brings in a connection to our past lives, death and rebirth, renewal and spiritual enlightenment. Keywords: trust, faith, wishes, luck, protection, happiness, intuition, defense, past lives, cycle of life, and enlightenment. Rat. Such a misunderstood creature and blamed incorrectly for so many things. Its connection to death started way before the Black Death, as it is sacred animal of the underworld, carrying spiritual wisdom rather than plague-ridden fleas. In some cultures, the rat is also considered to bring fertility and wealth. It is definitely a cunning and resilient creature, and although they do like to forage in the rubbish bins, they are actually very clean animals. Did you know that rats actually share their food with each other too? And they help each other out. Keywords: spirituality, wisdom, fertility, wealth, cunning, resilience, cleanliness, sharing, kindness, helpful, and resourceful. Spider. A creature that a lot of people are afraid of, But really, they are incredibly magical and have a lot to teach us. They weave the web of fate and bring a balance between the past and future, bringing spirituality and creativity. Spider brings awareness of your own web of life and how you create and design everything that happens around you. Spider hands back the responsibility of creating your own environment to you with a reminder that you are in charge. Keywords: creation, weaving reality, infinity, balance, past, present, future, responsibility, and spirituality. Crossroads. There are a heap of folk songs that tell us the devil resides at the crossroads, but we don't really need to worry about him. What we are more interested in is the belief that the crossing of two roads, is a powerful spot. The crossroads is a centre of the four winds and the four directions. The centre point links the two worlds, that of the living and the dead. It is an in-between place. Although a crossroads can also be a meeting of three pathways rather than four. In some traditions, you would go to the crossroads at midnight to meet Eshu, Eligba, and in others, it is the place sacred to the sun god Ra and the gods Baravia, Hermes, and Mercury, and the goddess Hecate. The crossroads is also a place where hoodoo tricks take place and where spells can be buried to do their thing. You may find in your local woods or even parks that there is a place where two dirt tracks cross, or perhaps where a bridge goes directly over a straight run of river or stream. That centre spot is an excellent place to work magic. It is also a good spot to dispose of magic tricks and workings after you have finished with them, including candle stubs. Crossroads are also used in gypsy and folk magic as a place where opportunities meet and where changes in direction happen. They are unpredictable but also offer many choices. This is a place where multiple forces come together and anything can happen. It is a place of transformation. To stand in the centre of a crossroads, you will be met with power, potential, and choices. For healing, take bread and libation to the crossroads, pour out the libation, and place the bread on the ground. Turn in all directions, each time making a request for healing and good health, then return home without looking back. Healing crossroads spell. For any wasting or debilitating illness, borrow flour from 9 different people, bring it home and bake a cake with it. Take the cake to the crossroads, say a petition for healing, and leave the cake there. Searching spell. Stand in the centre of a crossroads, in a quiet country place, obviously not a busy intersection, and spin around until you are dizzy and fall down. Please be careful. The direction that your head is in when you land is where you should begin your search. Unblocking. Take bread and libation to the centre of a crossroads. Petition the spirits to unblock your way and remove any obstacles from your path. Leave the offerings and walk away without looking back. And let us not forget that crossroads used to be the place where people met, where travellers sought company, and where the gallows were that held the corpses left to hang. Inner city crossroads. Every town will have crossroads somewhere. Unfortunately, not all of them will be easily accessible to bury magical items at. Please don't get run over trying to lift tarmac in the middle of a city running in between the traffic lights. However, if you can find a quieter road that has a crossroads, it might be very useful for magical work. If you don't have a suitable crossroads nearby, you can create your own. Take some soil, salt, or ground herbs and make a cross on your floor or table. The point where your two lines cross is the sweet spot, and you can work and lay your magic right there. Crossroads divination. Apparently, an old Persian system of divination involves standing around at a crossroads on a Wednesday, perhaps because it was Wednesday, because Wednesday is linked to communication, and listen to the conversation of all passers-by. Listen to what may be seemingly random words and parts of their chat, then try to apply the words to your own situation or query. The crossroads keys. Another trick is to create your own crossroads keys. It works something like a talisman that links you directly to a crossroads so that you always have that connection whenever you need it. You will need 2 old keys, preferably the straight skeleton type, as the modern front door keys don't work so well. Measure a piece of red ribbon or wool from your heart to the outstretched wrist of your left hand. Tie the keys together with this and then carry them with you for 1 full moon cycle of the moon. Make sure that you take the keys out and handle them every day. You can even tie pieces of your hair to them or add your saliva. Ooh, gross, but it works. So that you can get a really personal connection with them. Once the moon cycle is up, you take a trip to the crossroads. Dig a small hole in the ground at the centre of the crossroads, and after cutting the ties on the 2 keys, drop one of them into the hole. Keep the other key in your left hand and use your right hand to bury the key in the hole. Now you have a key to the crossroads to use as a direct connection to open the doorway between the worlds whenever you need. Crossroads meditation, a recording can be found here. Homework. 1. Try the walking meditation and report your experience. 2. If you saw an animal, a bird, or any plants, weeds during your walking meditation, research them. If you didn't experience all 3, please make your own choices to research. 3. Do you think being in a town, makes you feel disconnected from nature? 4. Create a spell adapting correspondences to match town or city surroundings. For example, in a spell for strength, swap an oak tree for the tallest building in a city. 5. Create a spell to include at least 1 weed found in your local area. Document what you did and why. 6. Practice the crossroads meditation and report your experience. 7. Research where your nearest crossroads is. Is it safe to practice magic there? If not, can you find or create one that is? 8. Research a deity that is connected to the crossroads. 9. Make your own mini crossroads for use in your own workings. Describe what you did and include a photograph. Homework for each lesson should be emailed to your mentor, Ness or Heather, at the usual address.